Places on the ladder where we want to clean and lube, and through trial and error we've determined that washing it with truck brushes is the absolute worst thing in the world you could do. All you do is spread grease all around. It's no good. So basically the shop has provided our station with the proper equipment to clean and lube the stick and how to inspect it. Okay, so first of all, for inspections, what we want to do is you want to get the whole thing out, okay? And right now you're basically inspecting to making sure that your grease is actually there, okay? You'll notice on the ladder right now that there are some areas to where the white paint has been rubbed off, okay, just from use, okay? The shop's aware of that, okay, and in the future they're going to fix that for us. So after that, we need to watch for that kind of thing. We don't want to get down to the metal, because right now in some areas we're down to the primer, and we want to make sure that we're keeping some paint. We move up here, Jeff. We want to make sure that we're inspecting these cables. Okay, and you want to make sure that you have a gloved hand, like the little leather gloves. Okay, at minimum a rag, but I recommend a glove. If you've ever ran your hand over a cable and gotten bit by a cable, you want to have a glove on. What we're looking for here is any kind of rust, any kind of fracture in the line, any loose strands that are coming up through the line. We want to make sure and walk the whole line. We want to make sure that these bolts are tight, that these connections are good, that we don't have any rust built up, and that they're tight. Also, back here at the pulley, the shop currently has the grease for these pulleys. Okay, it's a thicker grease, but we want to make sure that we look up in here, make sure we don't have any fractures, make sure that these wheels are intact. You can wipe the excess grease off of here if we have an excess built up. It just attracts dirt. We don't need that. We can wipe that off. You usually do that with a alcohol, like isopropyl alcohol or
isopropyl alcohol.
Okay, so we do have just the alcohol, yep. Okay, that we can use to wipe off the excess. Want to make sure that our bolts are tight. Okay, we don't have any rust or anything like that. That looks like stainless, so it's not any rust. Okay. Also under here, we have more guides, that we want to look at. You have these guides here. Just want to make sure that they're greased, that they're same thing with the paint. Okay, that we have proper amount of paint in here. You also want to be inspecting covers. Nothing special. Splits. Yeah, just the rung covers. We've already identified, I think, one of them that's split. Shop just glued it down. We actually have more now in back stock at the shop, so if we do manage to break one of these or one of them splits, we have replacements for them. We want to keep an eye on those. Those are what keep us safe when we're climbing up the ladder. Again, any kind of bolts or anything, we just want to make sure that all the bolts are tight. The electrical lines, again, we're just making sure we don't have anything that's out of the ordinary. Everything's tight. All the connections are made. We're checking for our safety devices, like our foot pedestals, making sure that those operate properly, that they're tight. Okay. Under here, on the ladder pipe itself, okay, when we get to cleaning, this is just a simple wipe down, okay, with a rag, and then I'll go over what we use to all of the different lubrications that we use, but it's just a wipe down. We're just looking to making sure we don't have any defects. This thing should be smooth. There should be 0 defects on it. What else under here, Joe? Plug in. Okay, Joe from the shop has determined that when we have an excess buildup of grease on these big guides, that he found the best way to do it is to just take this thing and you can kind of pull a lot of the big clumps of grease off with this thing, and then take a rag and clean it off. So that's a good way to do that. to apply the grease, which is this super lube right here. It's a synthetic grease. It takes probably 2 tubes to do the whole stick. So we have 3 here right now. So about every month we're going to probably get another shipment from the shop, or we're going to try to work on getting a large 5-gallon bucket of it. So, and the way that we do that, we're going to keep a bunch of these paint brushes. We have 2 sizes right now, large one and a smaller one. The reason we have a large and a small is because these sections of the ladder right here, we simply just dip the grease out and we just paint it on, okay? And we do it here. The reason we have the small brush, Jeff, if you can get in here, is we have these little guides, okay, that need to be greased as well. Okay, now this one here, this is the one that you guys should get to clean today. And then we'll practice cleaning it and we'll practice lubing it. So that's how we lube the ladder, is with this, okay? On the water, we have a constant supply every couple of weeks. Station 51 gets a couple more bags of rags, okay? And you just take this and you just wipe this. You just try to get all this off. We're not doing the alcohol in this, are we?
No.
Yeah, we just want to wipe it off. Wipe the dirt and oil off of it, okay? And then when we reapply, what we're using on this is just ATF. Right there, where'd our thing go? Oh, there it is. So yesterday we were messing around. We found that probably the best way is we were oiling the rag, getting it all through there, and just simply wiping it off. You can see how it gives it a nice sheen, and that's kind of what we're looking for over the whole surface of it. Okay, just want to make sure that the whole thing.
Too much oil, it all ends up in the cab of the truck up there.
Too much oil all ends up on the windshield.
Yeah.
Okay, good to know.
Cab up there.
All right. It's actually like a motorcycle chain lube, okay? It sprays on wet, but it dries dry, okay? It just takes a couple minutes or a couple seconds actually, and it dries. But the can has quite a bit of force in it, okay? So it's highly recommended that if you have the ability to do a 2-person operation, let's come down here, Jeff. If I could get one of you guys to just pull that cable out. There you go. Just pull it out a little bit, okay? And you want to get the rag in here behind it and spray it like this. And you can just kind of follow behind me and you just kind of keep it out, okay? Otherwise, we get this all over the stick. See, like I just oversprayed and got some on the stick, okay? These cables are designed to have lube go all the way through and in it, not just on the outside, okay? So
that's why the pressure.
Yes, okay. We want to have quite a bit of lube on that thing. We want to make sure and get it all in there real good. Okay? When you're cleaning the ladder, again, when we're preparing to lube or to put any kind of grease on the ladder, it's wise to have a couple of these on you. One rag works for a little while, and then you start smearing, and you want to have another one ready to go, and kind of. Or maybe work an area and then come back over the whole area with a fresh, clean rag. This dentured alcohol works really well to get those spots that stay behind after you've already tried to wipe it off with the rag. So you just put a little bit of this on here and it becomes nice and clean. And that's what you want to do right before you grease it all up, okay? Or any of these areas where we have excess grease. Okay, sometimes some of these cables, we got these Zerk fittings all over the place. Sometimes right here, put a Zerk in here and you get a bunch of excess grease out here. Like we have this grease right here, just a little dab on there, wipe it across and it comes right off. You'll spend all day with a rag, you just move grease around. So you want to use it. So we marked it here because we need that sometimes. Ladder 51 waterway lube for Zerks, okay? So here's the waterway, okay? And here's our Zerk fittings. This is the packing. Okay, so when this comes and collapses like this is what keeps us from blowing water all over the place. Okay, and also you'll notice on here, just when you're doing your inspections, that we have extra gaskets on here. So that when the one goes bad, they can cut that one out and they can just slide this one in. We don't have to take this thing out of service for 2 days while they take the waterway apart. So don't don't be alarmed if you see these gaskets up. Okay, so the grease gun, okay, simply just snaps on here to the Zerk fittings, and we just want to give one pump. And one pump, okay? You may get a little bit out of here. Here's the relief, okay? You may get a little bit coming out of there, but that's all we're looking for, is just one quick pump. Okay, also we got the grease gun for the monitor. On the right hand side we have a Zerk that's up here, and underneath we have a Zerk that's up here. Same thing. Look it up here, one squirt. We should be good to go for lubrication of the monitor. Okay, since this process takes a considerable amount of time, and the inspection of the ladder is on our weekly test. The lubrication, however, anytime we have 3 hours of actual stick movement time, okay, which is actually a considerable amount of drill. Anytime we've had a fire where we have a lot of smoke or soot that gets onto the stick itself, or anytime we feel like we don't have enough lubrication, or it's just getting really dirty, really grimy. The grease that we put on here is white. If we come out here and extend it out and everything is all black, it's probably time to clean it. So while there isn't a actual set time, those are kind of our guidelines. One crew out here to try to clean this whole thing and lube it in one day is not something I think that we're prepared to do. So what we're going to try is have a shift. Let's say A shift would clean the tip in 1 week. They would do the whole top fly. B shift, for example, would then take the second fly the second week of the month. They'd wipe it all down and then they would lube it. And then C shift would come in and do this the following week, and then A shift, and then so on. So that you'd always have 1 week each month there's a section of the ladder that's being maintained. That doesn't necessarily mean that it has to be cleaned and lubed, okay? In the future, if our usage is less and our drill time on the stick itself is down and it's been inside and it hasn't been on any runs, if it's good and it's clean and it's lubed, we're probably okay. So, but that'll be our rule of thumb for cleaning and lubing the ladder.